Hello everyone. Today we'll see Qlik's different types of charts, part 2. So here we will see KPI charts and remaps, scatter plot and geo maps, and we can see God chart. So all these 5 types of chart we can see one by one. So KPI chart, the numbers which is displaying, which have an impact value and which contains a message. The key KPI, key performance indicators, demonstrate the importance of number in business. Also, communicate the health of the business to the audience with the numbers. The KPI visualization can show one or two measure values and is used to track performance. There is no dimension. Here one or two measure values which is used to track performance. KPIs are used to evaluate the performance in a company or an organization. The KPI shows to what extent the number of goals have been reached. And KPI object is an important visualization object on any dashboards. The color segments which defined in the properties determine if the company is doing better than its set target value, given target value or not. If the sales are below the target values, then the KPI figure is shown in red. So if they achieve the target, then it will be displayed in green. Also, we can link the KPI to the report sheets helps the user to narrow down and see the granular data and see the granular figures. So when to use this? Use KPIs to get an overview of performance values that are central to the organization. Use color coding and symbols to indicate how the figures related to the expected results. And KPI object can also be represented using two measures, and we can show a comparison between KPI figures in a single KPI object. For example, the absolute sales and target values can be shown adjacent to each other as separate figures. If the sales are greater than the target value, then it is represented in green color. If it is lesser than the target value, it is represented in the red color. So we will see one example for KPI. So create new app. So users charts. So I create here, open app. So let me go to the data load editor. So I have 5 inline scripts for different tables. So let me create a tab KPI, and I'll be adding the values from here. So here I have the country wise sales and target. I have this sales versus target I want to display. So save and load the data. So the KPI table loaded with 3 columns. So it's loading. Right. So it is successfully finished. So now let me go to the app overview and create a new sheet. So create a new sheet, KPI, and edit this. So in the asset panel, if you could see this in the left hand side, we do have asset panels. There we have 11 charts are available. So in the prior version, we have seen 6 charts. So rest 5 charts we are seeing here. So let me take this KPI chart. Here we don't have any dimensions. Click on measures. So now here, so I am going with, so suppose the sum of the KPI sales. So I am taking this, insert sum of KPI sales minus sum of KPI target, and this let me whole bracket and divided by sum of KPI target. This one I insert. So sum of KPI sales minus sum of KPI target divided by sum of KPI target. So expression is okay, and I apply. So now this label I'll change it to sales versus target. Sales versus target, and this will be displayed here. So now change the number formatting. So here the number formatting, which is by default auto, I will change this to number. So the formatting simple. Here we can see what is bigger this which we are showing the percentage. So I'll be selecting 12.3. So it will display the respective percentages. And also there is one more option we have, the color. So default it is there. So now I will enable this. So I have, when I enable this condition colors on, so I have limits I have. So you can click on. So now first I will be setting the limit as 0. So here I set the limit as 0, and so first one I'll be adding the limit. So the first limit, so here add limit. So now here when I go here, this is the down arrow, so it is red, right? So and then the next one I go here, this is up arrow, then it should be shown with the green. So the two limits I added. So one is the negative, one is left, down arrow, negative one, it is red, and if it is a positive value, then it will display as a green, right? Then I save this and provided. Before this I will go to this appearance. So in this appearance and general, so show title. So here I don't have any title, so that let me display this. So here I'll be providing this title as sales versus target. So here I have the title. This I don't want it, just I display the KPI values. So for this I go to this presentation and I can uncheck this show title. So automatically this title has gone. So now go to this. So now done. So it is saved now. So just I go here in the edit. Let me minimize this. So minimize this. Then I bring this filter pane. The other one we have is a country. KPI country. I keep all the values here. So I have 4 countries. I have Germany, Japan, UK and USA. So now when I go select Germany, so this is plus. So now I select Japan, it is 0. When I go to UK, minus, it is 26.3, it is in red. And US, so here it should be blue. So I think I added 3 limits over there. So this limit, let me delete this, remove this. So I have only 2. So the positive value will be in green and negative value will be in red. So here you can see this in red, and USA, which is in profit, it is 17.6. Right. So the next one, so link to the sheets. So for this again I go to this app overview and create a new sheet and name it as reports. Right. So now I select this and edit. So bring a table chart here. So in this table chart, so I'll name this as reports and add dimension. So in this dimension what I will add, I'll be adding add dimension, so KPI country. Fine. So now the next one is I'll be adding the measure. So the measure will be KPI sales is your sum of sales. Now this label I add as KPI sales. Fine. The next measure I add, it is KPI target, sum of KPI target, and this name label as target, and the next column I add is, so I'll go to this function, so sum of here, sum of KPI sales minus sum of KPI target, and whole bracket I put divided by sum of KPI target. So this is what I have it for the KPI chart. So apply. So this one I change it to right. So here the label I change it to sales versus target. So now I have this value ready. Fine. So this one I will change this to number formatting, auto, and number, and the simple I will show this as a percentage. So 17.6 percentage and that. So I created another chart. So if I remove this filter selections, so I can see all this chart, what is the percentage for this. So this is the granular details of the KPI. So now I'll go to the previous chart KPI. So here, so in this edit, if I go here, just edit. So I can go below this appearance. So below there is a link to sheet. We have one option in the presentation. So I go enable this and it will ask for which sheet to be selected. So select this reports and done. So now this is 1.8. So now I select Germany. So this is 11.1. I want to find this narrow down and see the details. Just double click on this. So you can see this detail for the Germany selected. The sales is 5,000 and target is 4,500 and the sales versus target is 11.1 percentage. Right? So this is a way you can able to do that. Fine. So this is we have for KPI. Next we'll go for the second chart. So what are the advantage and disadvantages of KPI chart? KPIs give a quick understanding of the performance within the area, and disadvantage, KPI is somewhat limited when it comes to the graphical components. We can use symbols to help illustrate the performance, but if you want more, or consider using a gauge chart. So the next one is tree map. So the tree map in Qlik we used to call this as a block chart, heat map. So the tree maps display hierarchical data by using nested rectangles, that is smaller rectangles within a larger rectangles, right? So are a good way to show how different parts combine to form the whole. To add more depth to the visualization, you can easily highlight areas of importance by adding color codes. You can change the color codes and you can show the differences. Tree maps are used to display hierarchical data. You can drill down in the data and the theoretical number of levels is almost limitless. You can reach the practical limit before you reach the theoretical limit. In a tree map, you need at least one dimensions and one measures. But to make full use of the tree map, it is preferable to have two or three dimensions. You can only have one measures, but up to 15 dimensions we can have. However, using more than two or three dimensions is not recommended because the tree may become unmanageable. So tree map object groups the data based on the order of the dimensions you ordered. So the first dimension, second dimension, and third dimension. Based on the dimensions, it groups the data. By adding the color coding expression, we can quickly see the products that are doing better this month compared to the previous month. So when to use tree map? Use a tree map when space is constrained. So and you have a large amount of hierarchical data that you need to get an overview of. Tree maps should primarily be used with values that can be aggregated. So what is advantages and disadvantages? First, we'll see the chart and we'll go to that. So here, I'll go to this data load editor and I load the data for this tree map. So let me create a new tab and name this as tree maps. And I have an inline script for this. Take this. So here I have one dimension as product line, the second dimension is product group, and third dimension is product subgroup, and fourth one is year, and I have sales and cost as the measures. So load this data. Started loading the data. Right. So it is loaded now, and you can go to this app overview and create a new sheet. So let me name this title as tree map. Double click, edit this. From the assets panel, you can bring the tree map. So here I have one dimension and one measures. So first I go here, click this and select the product line, and I can go here, add dimension. So the second one I give it as product group, and again I add the third dimension. I provide this as product subgroup, and then I add the measure. So what is the measure it is? So I can see the value is TM sales. Okay, so add the measure and TM sales, sum of TM sales, and I will name this label as sales. So I have three dimensions: product line, product group, and product subgroup, and I have one measures which is sum of sales and labeling it as sales. So now you can see this different rectangles, and within that small rectangles are there. And the produce, and within produce you have nuts and tofu, and snacks which we have chips and dips, cheese for dairy, and milk for dairy, and beverages we have soda. All those, the smaller rectangles means that it is aligned in an order based on the order of dimension. Right here we placed product line, product group, and product subgroup as the primary, secondary, and tertiary dimensions. So now we can go to this appearance. We can change the colors. So now in this, first I will go to this colors. So I'll go to this colors and I change this. So now you can, so this is custom. So now I wanted to go with my expressions. So expression means I will write some expression for this. So suppose here, so if my sale, here we have 2014 and 2015 sales we have. So if 2014 sales is greater than 2015 sale, then red, otherwise you display it as a green color. So like I can go by dimension. So each and every dimension will be having different colors, and you can go by measures. Each and every measures, more than one measures if you get, the measures will be displayed with different colors. And again you can go with an expression, so like we can provide your validations over there. So now I have sum of, so sum of, so this is TM sales, right? The sum of TM sales. So what I am going to do, if the sum of sales for the year 2014 is greater than 2015, then red, otherwise green. So I have to write a set analysis for this. So open and close braces, and I'll be going with year equal to, so I'll be opening and closing this. So year is equal to 2014, right? So now if sum of, so then greater than, so what I will do, this is 2014, so I copy and place this will be 2015. If this is greater than 2015, so then red color as this green, and process back. So expression is okay, and apply. So now you can see this, wherever you can feel it is red, done. So now wherever it is red, so there the 2014 sale is greater than 2015 sale, and the wherever the green, it is 2015 sale is greater than 2014 sale. Okay, so this is the tree map. And what is the advantages? Tree maps are economical in that they can be used within a limited space and yet display a large number of items simultaneously. So here for these dimensions, whatever the values we have for that particular dimension variables, it will be displayed. And without any confusions, it will be looking appealing. So whereas when we go to the pie charts, so if you have more than 6 to 8 slices, it will not be looking good. When there is a correlation between color and size in the tree structure, you are able to see patterns that would be difficult to spot in other ways. For example, when a certain color is particularly relevant. And disadvantages, tree maps are not good when there is a big differences in the magnitude of the measure values. Nor is a tree map the right choice when mixing absolute and the relative values. If the values are very small, so it looks with different colors, it will be looking appealing. Negative values cannot be displayed in the tree maps. So this is the tree maps, and next we will see scatter plot chart. The scatter plot chart presents pair of values from two or three measures. So you can see x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So the third axis, if you are enabling, that is called as bubble size, which used to then also called as bubble charts. So this is useful when to show data where each instance has two numbers. For example, relationship between the sales and quantity per customer. In the scatter plot, a third measure is used to generate the bubble size. In the scatter plot, we need one dimension and at least two measures. We can have maximum one dimension and three measures, where the third measure is visualized as a bubble size. In most charts, we find the dimension on one of the axes, but for a scatter plot chart, the dimension is represented by the points in the chart and the measures are found on each of the axes. So here the two axes or the third axis, whichever you are using, that will be the third two measures or the third measures which you are using, so that would be occupying your axis. So when a third option measure is used, its value reflected in the bubble size. So when we work with larger data sets, about more than 1000 data points, Qlik uses an algorithm to create an overview of the data. However, if you zoom or make selections so that the number of displayed data points is reduced to less than 1000 data points, the data will be shown as individual bubbles. This switch between the compressed view and bubble view is done automatically. The density of the data points is reflected by color. So when to use this, the scatter plot helps to find potential relationship between values and to find outliers in the data set. The scatter plot is useful when we want to show data where each instance has at least two metrics. For example, average life expectancy and average gross domestic product per capita in different countries. So before we go to advantages and disadvantages, we will see one example for it. So let me go to this data load editor. So click this save and I go to this data load editor. I take this plot, right? I create this tab plot and have this here. So here I create using auto generate around 10 lakh records I am creating on the fly. Fine. So here I have three measures: SP sales, quantity, and SP cost, and one dimension is the trans ID record number I am giving. So load this data. It will load for 10 lakh records. So it will be taking a little time in loading the data. So auto generate, right. So it's created SP sales, SP cost and quantity and trans ID. So now I come here, app overview, create this data plot, edit this. So now let me take this scatter plot here. So add dimension, obviously the trans ID. So we are taking and add measures. So we will be taking scatter plot sales, sum of sales, fine, and this one is scatter plot quantity. So here we have this quantity and some quantity. So I name this as sales and quantity. So if I go here, this SP sales, the label as sales, and when I go to this quantity, this label as quantity. So now, if I wanted to display this in the three dimension, so then we can add the cost as well. So here, so when I go here, add. So then I will take this SP cost. So I'll be taking this SP cost and I'll be adding the label as cost here. Cost. Fine. So now it's done. So you can see here, so this is a three-dimensional view. You can see here the sales which occupies your x-axis and the quantity which occupies your y-axis and the bubble which would be your third axis, that is the cost. So you can increase. Suppose if I wanted to zoom, automatically there will be a view. So there will be a view shown here. So you can see here on moving this, the left below, the right below corner, you can see this views. So based on this, you can enlarge. So here, when I double click on this, you can still edit this. So the presentation, I wanted navigation bubble size, you wanted to increase, or you wanted to keep this navigation off on, so then you can still have these values. So let me apply these values and apply, and for example I can go have this value for this. So I go here, the number formatting, number, and for this quantity let me display this number, and for the sales let me display this number. Fine. So done. So this one you can move here and there, and this you can enlarge. So you can see this, you can see the bubble, the third axis which is showing the, see, the sales quantity and the cost. Suppose for example the sales, I think the label I didn't give, so I will edit this sales. Fine. So if you are giving this third axis, this bubble will be displayed. So you can zoom in and you can see the values and you can move here and there. So then, and you can zoom. So and see the value for this, right? So it looks like a bubble, right? So this is the scatter plot chart. If it is a two-dimensional, then the x and y axis occupied by the two measures, and if it is a three measures, so then automatically the third measure will be occupying your z axis, that is called as bubble chart. Fine. So now we will go to the gauge chart. So save this. And before that, we'll see the advantages of the scatter plot chart. The scatter plot chart is a great way to visualize the correlation of two or more measures at the same time. The third measure is an efficient way of differentiating between values and simplifying the identification of, for example, large countries, large customers, large quantities, and so on. So number of products manufactured. So now I am working with the sales and the quantity and number of products manufactured. So number of products handled, sold. So those things we can able to have it in the third dimension. So drawbacks of scatter plot chart. The scatter plot may be difficult to understand for an inexperienced user because it has measure value on both the axes, and the third optional measure adds complexity to the interpretation, because you need to zoom and you can move the positions here and there, and you can narrow down and see the values of the bubble. So using descriptive labels is a good way to make visualization easier to interpret. Values may be placed on top of each other or they're not visible until you zoom in. So because until you zoom in, you cannot see the values of the bubbles. So this is one of the drawback. So the inexperienced user, they will be finding difficulties initially. So guard chart. So guard chart is designed to show a single measure value and visualize how to interpret the value. So the advanced version of the KPI. So we have some limitations in the KPI. So that scenario, if there is a pictorial representation we need to go on, so then we can go with gauge chart. So when to use it? The gauge is often used to present KPIs, for example, on an executive dashboard, and together with segmenting and color coding, it's an easier way of illustrating a performance result. It is important to set relevant max and the minimum values to support the interpretation of the value. You can use a reference line to provide additional context as well. So before we go and see the advantages, we'll see one example for this. I go to the data node editor, add gauge. Fine, I'll take the input from the gauge. So just I'll be having gauge country, sales, and the target, because all these maps, the data are having sales in countries. So that's why to distinguish, I keep the name of the chart with the column. So I load this data. So here we have one dimension and two measures. Right. So now I go here, take this app overview, create a gauge. So double click on this, edit from the assets panel, drag this gauge chart. So we have the measures. So now just add the measure. So what is this gauge target I am using? So this is, we have it, and so just label this as sales versus target. So what we have done in KPI similarly, right? So now, so I have done that. So next I'll go to this add-ons. So in this reference line, add reference line, right? In this add reference line expression, so just you can add the sum of sales. Means this is the gauge sales. So let me, if you don't know the value correctly, so let me go here, gauge sales and set. So expression is okay, and we have this, and for this label I give this as sales. And for example, here the color references I want to change, so change the reference to red. Clicking. Fine. So I change these references to the red color. So now I go to this appearances. So in this appearances, I click on this presentation. Here I have, so either I can display this as a radial or I can display this as a bar chart. So I'll be displaying this as a bar chart. Fine. So the min is 0 and the max what I'm going to give. So I'll be giving this as sum of, so gauge, so target into 1.2 times of gauge target I'm giving. Right, so I go here, just Control A, and gauge target and sum of gauge target apply. Sorry. So I go here and gauge target and sum of gauge target insert into 1.5. It is okay and apply. Fine. So the minimum is 0 and the maximum is sum of gauge target into 1.2. So this is the maximum range limit. And the next thing is that, so I'll use this segment. So here when I click on the segment, it will be asking for limits. So you can add 1 segment, 2 segment and 3 segment, and those segments you can determine with the values and you can change the colors also. So now first I add the segment 1. So one segment is added. So this segment I will give the value. So what value I can give? So maximum value I have given as, so KPI gauge target into 1.2. So here let me give into 0.3, so 30% of the gauge target. So what color I give? So this one I give this as a gray, so the first one. Fine. So then this is done. So now I go here and edit this, and here, so now again I add a limit. So this one, so I wanted to give this as, so take this gauge target and sum of gauge target, insert this and into, you can give as 60%, 0.6. So apply this, and this one I change this color to red. So let me have this as red. Fine. So done. So again I come to this edit. So now I'll go and add a limit. So third limit I'm adding. So this is the third limit. So this color I will give this as a yellow. Fine. So in this function what I'm writing, the same thing. So here the sum of gauge target, the complete. So first is 30% and second is 60% and the third is 100%. The maximum value is 120%. And apply. So here you have the first 30%, 0 to 30% it is gray, and 30 to 60% it is red, and 60 to 100% it is yellow, and more than 100% if you wanted you can change this to green color. Fine. Right. So now the last one I will be giving this as a gradient. So it will display with a mix of yellow and green. So now I add this. So here what I will do, let me similarly like a KPI chart, let me get a filter pane and add this gauge country. So now I have 4 countries here. So this let me minimize. So let me minimize this. Okay, fine, done. So now when I select Germany, you can see this 4.5 and the sales is 5k, right? Your target is 4.5 and your sales is 5. So when I go to this Japan, so it is both are 6,000. When I go to UK, so your sale is 7k and your target is 9.5. That's why it is appearing in red. So now when I go to this US, so your sales is 10k but your target is 8.5. So this is the way it is an advanced level of your KPI chart. The KPI chart will not be providing you the chart, it will just have the numbers. Here in addition we can go with the charts. So either you can go with the radial or else you can go with the bar chart. Okay. So now then what is the advantages and disadvantages of gauge chart? A gauge is easy to read and understand and gives an instant indication of the performance within an area, right? Disadvantages, the gauge is quite space demanding in relation to the single value it visualizes. Although visually compelling, the gauge is not always the best choice for presenting a single measure value. If you are having a single measure value, you can go with KPA because a KPA will work with both single measures and two measures. Here, if it is a single measure, it will not be appealing and not meaningful also. So the problems when deciding the max and min values can indicate that some other visualization should be used. If you only want to show a performance value without a gauge, consider using a KPA instead. Right? So we have seen the fourth chart. So in the next chart is map chart. So the geo maps, which is one of the most important chart. So if my sales spread across multiple countries, so I wanted to display, so then map chart will be used. So map can be used for a wide variety of purposes. The common use in business intelligence is to plot sales data per region or per store. You can create a map by using either a point layer or an area layer. So either using a KML or Excel file, or else you can go for an area layer KML file. So when to use it? We can use a map to show the geographical distribution of offices, stores and other sites of business interest. We can visualize not only locations but also sales values and other measures and display the value differences by bubble size or color. So with a point layer, all bubble looks the same. But by using an expression or a measure, we can let the bubble size reflect the value. In the properties panel, add an expression to the point layer or drag a measure from the master items in the asset panels to the visualization. We can also use coloring by measure or by expression to show difference in the values. Those formulas you can apply in measures or by expressions. And also the second one we have is with an area layer. With an area layer, each sub-area is a dimension value. By using colors, you can differentiate between measure values. In the properties panel, under appearance, colors and legend, switch colors to custom where options by measure and by expression are available. Before going to the advantage, we'll see how to create the map chart. So let me save this and go to the data editor. Now the last one I have. So the country and the sales I have. So map. So here the country basically will be having the latitude and longitude for each and every country. For example, let me go this as a geo country because already I have a country available in this chart. Then this also I'll go with geo sales. Right? So the region I don't have in my data sets. So I save this and load the data. So here I have two tables. One is a country, the country names with the latitude and longitude. The other one is a country name with the sales values or sales values and which region they are from. So that is displayed here. So it is loaded. Now I go to this app overview. So create a chart, map, and double click on this, edit. So now drag this map from the assets panel. So now I have dimension. So add dimension. So now what we had? So we are having country, right? Country, geo country. So in this geo country, so I'll go to this map. So here also I have geo country, and here also I have geo country. So let me have this as country. Here also I have this. Fine, and save this and load this data. Fine. So the data will be loaded. So once loaded, we'll go to app overview and create a new sheet. So already the sheet is there. So So edit this and go to the assets panel and drag the map here. So replace with this map, fine. So add this dimension, so country geo point. So the first one is the country geo point and select this country point, right? So this is there, and again you can go and add measure. So you can add a measure sum of sales. Sum of, so you can go here and sum of geo sales. So I'll take this geo sales and insert, apply. So fine. So once we apply the sales, so name this as sales. Fine. So now you can see here this bubbles are displayed by default. So the use expression for bubble size. You can see this, the sum of sales, geo sales will be used based on the size of the, based on the sum of sales. So the larger in size if the sale is more, and if it's lesser in size if the sale is less. Right? So now I can go to the background. So the map service. So just it is initially auto. Let me make it custom. So by default, so the Slippy Max XYZ type is available with it. So now here we need to have URL and attribution. So for this there is a link available. If you click this, it will take you to the ClickSense site where we have different types of options available. So that URL you can copy and paste from there and have and populate that particular background for your chart. Right? For this you need to be connected in the internet. So we have different types. We have, let's see here, once this populates we can take the link and the attribution from the ClickSense site and we can copy and paste. Right. So now we have here the Slippy map servers. We have OpenStreetMap, OpenCycleMap, MapQuest OSM, MapQuest OpenAerial, and Mapbox Natural Earth. So I'll be taking initially the first one, OpenStreetMap. So this background we don't have any backgrounds, we have just the measure, the sum of sales displayed in the bubble size. Right. So I will copy this URL and paste it here. So now you can see here, so that maps will be displayed, and the attribution, just you can go and copy this attribution string and place it here. Fine. So done. So here you can able to see this. So now you see this is the sale of India, 7.9 million. So it is placed exactly on top of India. So now this is a China, the sale is 10.42 million. And here this is Argentina, the sale is 6.36 million. And this is Salvador, the sale is 8.89. Right? So and then the small one, which is the Netherlands, the sale is 521.27. So this is the way we can able to populate your map chart. So now we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of map chart. The map is a versatile visualization that efficiently presents the geographical distribution of key values related to the location or area. And disadvantages, with a large number of values, it may be hard to get a good overview. Values may be placed on top of each other and not visible until we zoom in. So this is one of the drawbacks we have. So today we have seen KPI and tree map, scatter plot, God chart and map chart. Hope it will be useful for you. So if any queries, reach out to us. Thank you.